Okay, today I want to ask you a slightly different question. How much have you been using your imagination lately? Because we all have these incredibly powerful imaginations and we're using them all the time, whether we realize it or not. So think about how easy it is to imagine something going wrong, to worry about something that hasn't even happened yet, or, when you play out a conversation in your head, or wonder whether something is going to work, or whether you'll have enough money, or whether you'll get that opportunity, or whether you'll be able to do something. We create an entire future in our minds that hasn't even happened yet. And then we start feeling the emotions of that future right here in the present. We're really, really good at this. So, what if we started using that amazing ability in our favor? Because manifesting something, bringing something into your life, it isn't about creating a vision board once or just doing the odd visualization or thinking positively. It isn't that. It's about what we're practicing most of the time. It's about what we're repeatedly giving our attention to. Those images and those scenarios that we're creating in our minds, those possibilities that we're allowing ourselves to see, and also the energy that we're in. So, whether you think about that from the perspective of this incredible power of your mind, or whether you take it into the more, the idea of vibration and energy and law of attraction, but there is something I get so excited about realizing how much power we have to influence our experience of our lives. It doesn't mean that we control every single thing that happens to us, because of course we can't do that. We have no control over anything that happens externally. But we can become really intentional on what we are focusing on and what we're making space for in our lives. And that is exciting. Because if we're going to imagine anyway, which we do, why not imagine something really good? Now, we all knew how to do this so naturally when we were children. Just think back to when you were little and dreaming. It didn't need to be realistic. In fact, even when you dream at night, you can fly over the room. Nothing needs to be realistic. When you were a child and you were dreaming, you could decide what you were going to be when you grew up, and you didn't have any limitations, and you decided on your adventures, and you didn't immediately get out some sort of plan and work out whether it was achievable. You just dreamed, and dreaming was fun. And there's something so magical about that. You didn't immediately follow every exciting thought with all the reasons it probably wouldn't happen. You didn't think as a child, well, that's unrealistic, or I haven't got enough money for that, or I'm too old, or I'm too young. Who am I to do that? You just allowed your imagination to go there. And somewhere along the way, we grow up, don't we? And we become really sensible. And we start editing our dreams before we've even imagined them. And we look at what we have now and what we've experienced, and we use that as evidence for what we can have in the future. And that's perfectly natural. That's how our brains work. We decide what's possible based on what we already know, who we already know, what we've already experienced. But there's so much more that you haven't experienced. Your future does not need to look like your past. There are people you haven't even met. There are ideas you haven't thought of. There are opportunities that are just waiting for you, and that is exciting. There are places you haven't been and things you haven't learned, and just some incredible moments that you don't even know are coming. You can't possibly know today everything that's available to you in the next few weeks or months or years. So for the next few minutes now, I want to give you permission to dream again, not sensibly, not realistically, not based on what you think you should achieve or can achieve, just dream. And maybe if it feels safe to do so and comfortable, you could close your eyes for a little while and just allow everything else to fade into the background and imagine and dream. Just take being practical completely off the table right now. You don't need a plan, you don't need to work anything out. This is just time for your imagination to open up. So imagine now there's no limitations. Imagine you just knew things were going to work out for you. Imagine there are possibilities coming towards you that you hadn't even thought about yet. Allow yourself to dream now. What would you love? Not what you think you can have. What would you love to happen? What would you love to experience? Where would you love to go? What would you love to wake up to? Who would you love to spend your time with? What would you love to own or to see? What would you love to feel? Let yourself have some fun right now. Your dreams don't need to be meaningful. Not everything has to be about personal growth or achievement or becoming a better version of yourself. Some things can just be because it makes you feel good. Maybe it's walking into a beautiful home and knowing it's yours, or maybe it's opening your bank account app and seeing a number that makes you smile or even grin from ear to ear. Maybe it's traveling first class on a plane or seeing something in the world that takes your breath away. Maybe it's just feeling like you have freedom or learning something just because you can. Maybe it's just laughing so much that your belly hurts. Or maybe it's meeting someone who's going to change everything for you. Or an opportunity that comes out of nowhere. Or just one of those moments where you think, how on earth did that happen? I am loving this. And maybe you can feel that little spark of excitement now beginning somewhere inside of you. That feeling of what if it all worked out? What if my life gets more fun? What if there's more adventures? What if I make so much money and meet incredible people? What if opportunities find me? What if something I've wanted for years becomes possible? What if something happens that I haven't even thought of to ask for yet? Because even our biggest dreams are limited by what we know exists. And this is where we can begin to opening ourselves up to something even bigger, to manifest and bring something even better, even bigger into our lives. That's exciting. Maybe you don't even need to know what the dream looks like. Maybe you can dream in feelings right now. More freedom. How does that feel? More abundance, more connection. More ease, how does that feel? More moments when you look around and think, I love my life. That is something I've become so practiced at, looking around and saying, I love my life. I love this. I love this. I love this. Imagine sending that energy out. The energy is someone who's available for more, who is loving life. Someone who's saying to life and to the universe, show me what's possible. Show me the opportunities I haven't thought of. Bring me the people I haven't met yet. Give me ideas that excite me. Show me those doors that I haven't noticed. Surprise me. Because this is your life. And why wouldn't you be excited about it? Why wouldn't you wake up wondering, what amazing thing might happen today? Why shouldn't you expect good conversations and coincidences and unexpected opportunities and things to just happen that you think, oh my goodness, how on earth did that happen? This is amazing. We spend so much time rehearsing worry. We can spend minutes and minutes imagining things going wrong. We can practice those difficult conversations even before we have them. We can imagine problems maybe in our bodies. And then we can allow our bodies to respond as though it's all happening right now. So what if you practice possibility with the same imagination? What if every day you gave yourself just a few minutes to ask, what could be amazing? What am I excited about? What if this works? What if something even better happens? Not because you have to force yourself, not because it's toxic positivity or unrealistic positivity. It's because you're actually starting to focus on something different. The possibility of if it all works out. And the more you practice that, the more familiar that becomes. Your mind's always looking for possibilities. You're always noticing things. You always have ideas. So you can now focus on, what if everything works out even better than I imagined? And energetically, you don't need to keep saying, I'm waiting to see what life gives me. You are participating in creating it. So just imagine yourself right now, before the emails, before the messages, before scrolling on your phone, before the to-do lists, imagine saying, what am I available for today? Joy, fun, connection, abundance, an amazing surprise. Imagine carrying that energy into your day instead of the worry. Be a little more open. Be a little more curious. Be more expectant of amazing things happening today, miracles happening today. That childhood feeling when you knew something exciting was coming up and you couldn't wait to see what happened, because there is so much still ahead of you. There is so much you haven't seen. There is so much you haven't experienced. So many places you haven't been. So many versions of your life that you haven't lived yet. How exciting is that? So dream. Dream about ridiculous things. Dream about money. Dream about places. Dream about all the good you can do in the world. Dream about the experiences. Dream about the person you're becoming and all the life that you can create. And just dream about fun things, because you are allowed to love your life. You're allowed to want more. That's not selfish. You're allowed to be excited about what's coming. You're allowed to believe that incredible things can happen to you. You don't need to know exactly all of those things, but maybe you can just say, I am ready for more today. I'm ready to dream bigger. I'm ready to notice possibilities. I'm ready to follow what excites me. I'm ready to use this powerful mind of mine to imagine things I actually want to experience. And I'm open to life surprising me in ways that are even better than I ever imagined. Because why not? Why not you? Why not now? There is so much of your life still waiting to be lived. So go and get excited about it right now.